So yeah, you actually want to start out like we'll just crack a beer and after we do the intros and then just say real quick, hey, this is what we're drinking.
Yes.
And then we'll move on to Carlos, Maui,
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Wait, hold on. Oh, I guess I didn't have to burp. Okay.
All right, you good?
I'm good.
Oh, we'll stay out late to gastrobate and hang out with our friends. We'll share a few good microbrews, the good times never end. From seaside to the mountains, we'll travel many lands. Eateth of their pub cuisine and hear their local bands. We'll drink it from a bottle in a can or what's on tap. We'll rage brew as we do with fairness and a map. Spirits are up, we'll fill our cup, the wind is in our sails. We'll drunkenly mix metaphors and travel happy trails.
Welcome back to Hoppy Trails, a show where, yes, we talk about beer, yes, we talk about food and craft beverages and things like that, but every now and again, we call on you because there is something bigger than us out there in the world, people that need our help, and we need you listeners to participate as well.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Travis, and no special guest this week, but we do actually have something very important that we want to talk about at the beginning of the show here, and we'll get to that in just a second. But before we do, I mean, the real important stuff, Nick, what are you drinking?
I'm about to crack open this El Segundo Brewing Come Original IPA. That was collaboration with 311. What?
Yes.
I didn't even know about this. Thankfully, we have such amazing fans.
Amazing fans.
Billy turned us on to this.
Billy.
And he actually, the crazy part is this is a brewery based in Southern California.
Yes.
He got it and then made it magically appear at my doorstep.
Magically.
This beer traveled North America, across the United States.
Yes.
Over and back to be in my hand right here.
That's right.
This can has seen some shit.
It
has. And now she's going to get cracked. Oh. Ooh, a little messy there.
You hear that? That's the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
That is the real deal. Billy, we thank you. A couple of those arrived on my doorstep as well with a few other things. And we'll be getting to more of those soon. Look at that pour.
Oh, man.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
It's going in. Oh, man. I can see the look on his face. Anybody who's not a patron, you can't see the look on Nick's face right now. But, man, let me tell you.
Hey, for a few months old, that's still pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, delicious. Wow. This is a great. It's 7%.
7%.
This is another nice all day drinking. I mean, 7%. Yeah. You'll probably start feeling after 5 or 6, but I mean, if you stay at about a beer an hour, you should be good for the afternoon.
Should be all right. And we're currently recording on Labor Day. It's Labor Day right now. That's what it's about. Yeah.
It's also, I'm normally not the one to really mention it or anything, but the irony is that today is my birthday.
Yes.
Labor Day.
And a big happy birthday to Nick. And Nick, how old are you now?
Thank you. I'm 42.
42. Which means he is as old as first wave craft brewing. No, maybe second wave.
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah, for sure. No, that didn't even think about it that way. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was, it's been a great weekend, which I'll talk about a few places we went to, got to experience for the first time. And yeah, today we didn't know what I wanted to do today. And then I was like, I want to go for a hike. And so we went to a new place, checked it out, quick little uphill trail to a waterfall, brought a little beer Kong accessory so I could crush down a Great Notion Light.
Yes.
For a nice victory beer. And it was a good day. Today's was a good day.
Yeah, and if you don't know the beer Kong, we have not yet done a beer accessory spectacular, which we will get to. But the beer Kong is one of those things that you got to have it in your arsenal. You just have to.
I'll bring my beer Kong down. We'll have some fun in a couple weeks.
Beautiful. Yeah, you know me. I've got like 15 or 20 beer Kongs sitting in various shapes and sizes and colors and what have you. Absolutely. Well, I have got a beer that I picked up from a nice tap room in town called Farmers Union Poorhouse. and they always have amazing stuff on tap. Always very happy when I go in there. And recently, I think as part of the pandemic, they put in a couple of refrigerators where they've got cans and bottles and things like that. And so I've been able to pick up a couple of beers from out of state. And this is one called Drowned Lands Brewery in New York. Okay, here's the can.
Wow.
Right there. Well, let me get it there. Very simple. Okay, very simple
Very
label.
nice.
Simple coloring. And this is a double India Pale Ale. Okay, Soil and Citra is what it's called. 8.5%. And it is 100% Citra. 100% Citra hops, which, as soon as I saw that, I thought, all right, this is something I'm going to have. But yeah, Soil and Citra, double dry hop, all Citra, double IPA. So here, let me crack this thing open. Let's see what we've got.
Crack her open. Oh yeah, that sounded better than mine.
Ha ha ha! Oh, I can smell it already. Oh my goodness! Just cracking that top, and I can smell the Citra. All right, let's see what we've got here. There we go. Oh man, I'm pouring a little bit fast. Oh my god, you can tell it's been a long weekend. I'm pouring like a rookie. All right, let's see that thing. God, look at that! Look at that pour. That's a total amateur pour right there.
Beautiful color.
Beautiful color on that, though, isn't it?
That looks great.
Heck of a beverage we've got here. So let me give it a. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that smell is just that total, that Citra hop right in your face.
Does it make you sit your ass down?
At 8.5, man, a couple of these, it will make you sit your ass down.
It will, yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's actually got a little bit more malt presence than we've been seeing in beers recently. Now, I know last episode we did talk about a couple of beers that you had when you were out on the road that did have a little bit more of that malt presence to them, which is always wonderful. This one actually does. And I don't know if it's just because it is that coming from the East Coast that maybe they're doing it a little bit different. And I'm used to some of the California beers that are really putting the malt in the background. But yeah, that's nice. It's really pleasant. It balances well with the Citra. Definitely an excellent beer. I'd have that again.
Absolutely.
Now, as I referenced in the hook here, we do have something that's actually very important to talk about. And we mentioned Labor Day, but a lot of times, we don't talk about what year it is, the date, things like that. But this is something that is going to kind of reference the time frame that we're in. We're talking about the big fire that happened in Hawaii, right? Yes. Huge tragedy. A lot of people have died. Many, many people displaced, have lost homes, businesses, everything. And so we wanted to talk about a way that each and every one of us can participate in helping all of those people that are in need. And this is a project called the Kokua Project, Kokua, Kokua Project through Maui Brewing Company. And Nick, what is that about?
It's basically a collab. They've come up with a recipe that anybody can download and follow to make this beer. And typically other breweries around the U.S., they will take that recipe, produce beer, and whatever proceeds they get from selling that particular beer, they'll then send those proceeds to the particular fundraising project for the Kokua beer.
Exactly. And this one, the Maui Brewing Company, they have partnered with Global Empowerment Mission, which is a 501c3. And yeah, just as you said, you go on to mauibrewingco.com/Kokua, Kokua. You go on there and you can download the recipe. There's a donation pledge form if you just want to flat donate. Marketing collateral if you want to do some market, whatever you want to do, merchandise kits, it's all there, as well as a list of partner suppliers, which my understanding is these are companies that you can get supplies from to help you reduce the cost of brewing the beer so that you can have more of those proceeds actually going to help. And then below that, there is a list of participating breweries. And this is where all of our listeners can get involved. There's a list of participating breweries that are separated by state. And it's got to be hundreds of breweries on here just in the United States. Is that right, Nick? I mean, it's just so many breweries.
It's a very lengthy list.
Yeah.
Which is good to see. But
yeah,
there's easily a good 300 or 400 breweries here that are participating, which
wherever you live in the United States, there's going to be a participating brewery near you. So contact them, find out when they're going to have this beer available, and go buy some. Drink it. You can drink the beer, and part of the money that you spend is going to go to helping these people who are desperately in need. And these are these are our neighbors, right? I mean, yeah, they're neighbors in another state, but they are our neighbors. These are people who need our help. And if you can help them by drinking a beer, come on. How can you not,
But-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely go to mauibrewingco.com/kokua, Kokua, and check it out. Find the brewery near you, figure out when they're going to have it, and just go drink some of the beer. If there's any other way you can contribute, do that too. But at a minimum, go drink the beers.
Absolutely. We might end up just making it easy and putting a link onto our link tree so that anybody who visits our page, they can easily hop on over and get access to that list. So.
Yeah, that's a good call. So if you can't remember the Maui Brewing Co/Kokua, just go to hoppytrailspod.com and we'll have a link there in the link tree. That's a good idea, Nick. Okay, now I wanted to talk briefly about a project. Well, I guess you can't even really call it a project. It's been so much more than that for a long time that Nick and I have been involved with for a long time. And it also centers around kind of the idea of community collaboration like that. And that is a brewery called Brewing. And I'm sure, people have seen, I'll sometimes post, pictures using my Brewing pint glass or things like that. Brewing is California's first and only cooperatively owned brewery. Okay, so it is a cooperative. I am a member owner. Nick is a member owner. We actually referenced it in episode 1 because we weren't sure if this was going to be something that was going to be heavily involved with the brewery or independent. But it is a brewery. It's based out of San Jose, California. Cooperatively owned. There's somewhere over 650 member owners. And so everybody gets an equal vote in how things go. Anyone can run for the board, participate in a committee, things like that. And is modeled after a place called Black Star in Austin, Texas. And there are a handful of these cooperative breweries around the country. And it's really a cool concept. And it's a way that people who maybe don't have the time to dedicate to running a brewery full time, or, maybe you don't have $1 million to dump into opening up a brewery, but you still want to get involved. This is a way that people can get involved in actually having a brewery while not taking on that huge risk all on your own and spreading things around with a number of people. And it's been a really cool thing that I've been participating in since, I don't know, I think I became a member in like 2012 or something like that. Nick, when did you get involved?
Probably, I don't know. I think you probably told me about a few months after you started getting into it. And then, I don't know, it was probably like another 4 or 5 months later that I joined.
Yeah, and it's been a really cool thing. We contract brew, so that means that we don't have our own location with brewing equipment. We do is, we have a different type of license that allows us to bring our recipes to other breweries. They brew the beer for us, package it using our labels and like that. We buy it from them, and then we go resell it to retailers, restaurants, bars, liquor stores, what have you, like that. And so it's been a really cool process. I actually learned quite a bit about the industry by getting in very early and going through the licensing process. What licenses do we need? How do we apply for it? Helping develop recipes, finding those brewers, all of that. And it's been just such a really cool thing. And I don't want to go into it too much because there's, a little bit of a, potential turning point coming up. Running these cooperatives are very difficult. It takes a lot of work for very little compensation. And so there may be a turning point coming up, but I would like to get some people who are more involved in the day-to-day aspects of the brewery today and see if we can get somebody on in the coming weeks to really talk about what it takes, what it's like, and, maybe it's something that some of our listeners, maybe it's something you're interested in. And if it is, reach out to us. I can plug you in with some people at I can answer your questions. Nick can answer your questions. And maybe it's something that you want to try out on your own. And I say, if you can, get it done. Get in there and, enjoy this passion. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Nick, I understand you have a pastrami update for us.
Well, you got to roll back a little bit. We have to do something first.
What do we have to do?
Well, we have a new patron.
Did I forget? Oh, my God. We do have a new patron, don't we?
We do.
we have a new patron at what level?
The highest level, trail guide.
Highest level, trail guide. The trail guide level, our patron, Carlos.
Yes.
Carlos, the newest patron. And it has actually, we should have spoken about this on the last episode.
Shame on us.
Shame on us. Shame on us entirely. Yeah. Carlos coming in with the trail guide. That is the highest level of support that we offer on Patreon. And it's just amazing. It is amazing. What you are helping contribute to us is going to allow us to really expand and just provide so much more cool content. And it touches our heart to know that you like what we're putting out there enough to support us like that.
Right. Dude, honestly, when you first told me about like, hey, we should do a Patreon, I was like, nobody's going to give us money. And here we are a few months later. And we have a few folks giving us money each month. And I honestly like it, like I could care less about the money, but the fact that people actually like are, contributing to us and everything, like it really makes me feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something really cool. I mean, you don't really realize it until you start getting feedback from people. And like, true. And especially, feedback at a level like that, where, they're giving contributions back. That hits me right in the feels. It's a really reassuring feeling. So, Carlos and all of our other patrons, thank you very much for joining us on this hoppy trail.
Yeah. Absolutely. And all of our patrons know, at the different levels, there's different things we send out to you, little thank yous and things like that for participating and supporting us. Carlos, there's quite a bit coming to you. Obviously being at that highest level, there's a lot of things that we tell you we're going to give you. There's going to be some more coming in there too. And, as I said, that money, it's one, Nick and I are not going to retire. Okay. It's not huge amounts. We don't have a ton of patrons, right? We're not one of these big shows, but even these little bits that everyone's able to contribute, and a few of you and some of you more than others, that's money that we can take and put it back into, cool swag that we can send out and just fire off stickers, koozies, things like that. All of that comes out of Nick and I's pocket, right? Paying for hosting, all of that. We pay for it because we enjoy doing it, and helping cover those costs allows us to put more into newer and more fun, interesting things. And we're going to have a lot more coming out soon. So thank you, Carlos. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We can't do it without everybody listening. Yeah. Cheers, Carlos.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now we can fast forward.
Pastrami Watch 2023.
Pastrami Watch. Finally, because it didn't come out of the brine until after a little over 3 weeks. That's insane to think about. And honestly, I was thinking like it was going to be too salty, but I pulled it out and then I rinsed out the bucket, filled it back up, and just let it sit overnight in filtered water.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe that might have pulled a little too much out, so I'll have to play around with it next time. But it came out well. After that, what was it the other day? Put it on the smoker for about 5-6 hours at 225, get some smoke, pulled it off, split it in half so I could vacuum seal it, and throw it in the sous vide bath for 48 hours. Ended up being in there for 72 hours.
Wow.
At 149 degrees. And just sliced up part of the flat today earlier. And we went over to my parents and made some sandwiches. Came out really well. This time, was using, because I, sliced by hand. It was some nice, good 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch thick slices.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So
some with a little bite to it, Yeah,
absolutely. No, it turned out pretty dang good. So
good.
I'm already planning for the next one. I'm going to try doing 2 at the same time in the same bucket.
Yeah.
And not quite adjusting the brine recipe just to see if I can get away with the same amount of ingredients for the brine for 2 pieces of meat. And then actually do it for the 2 weeks. But it's going really good. Came out amazing. This particular rub that I used on it had some other items in it, like ground up juniper berries.
Yes.
So much flavor in that rub. Wow. There was so much aroma to it that it permeated the vacuum seal bag, and the sous vide water smells like the rub, all the aromatics and everything.
Yeah.
It even kind of left it like I know that the bags didn't leak, but it's just, again, it permeates outward.
Yeah.
And it even kind of gave the water a little bit of a tint.
Crazy.
But yeah, just insane aromatics. Like in my garage still smells like it, because that's where I had the sous vide going for 3 days.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it like I walk out the garage and it just smells like pastrami.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's very nice. Yeah. Now, you said that it was ground juniper berries. So did you purchase whole dried juniper berries and then grind them up, or how'd that work?
Yeah. So I just have one of those little coffee grinders that's dedicated to just spices.
Yeah.
And I threw those in, coriander seed, what else? Whole peppercorns.
Yeah.
And just ground all that up fresh.
Oh. And I bet that just smelled amazing.
It did. It was so good. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to use that rub and brine again, but I might maybe go a little bit lighter on the rub. We'll see. Cause it was like the amount that it called for making and then applying, like I had a decent amount left over, and I thought, look, okay, this is pretty loaded up with rub. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I just dumped all of it on and just kind of packed it all in. And very flavor packed crust.
Yeah.
Pastrami. So,
excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because you're going to be down here pretty shortly. I mean, we need to lock in our plans for Sacramento, places to stay and all of that, but you're going to be down here very soon. Do you have any pastrami left? Are you bringing me any pastrami?
Yes, I will bring some down. Bring some down. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to make another one, but I think I haven't cut up the point yet, so I'll probably put that through the slicer so I get some nice thin slices. And then I'll vacuum seal it up in portions, and I'll bring down a few portions for you and a couple others. So yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, my mouth is watering. Yeah. I definitely like, a little bit of rye bread with some nice thin shaved deli sliced pastrami on there. Oh man, that's a good way to go. No doubt about it.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, I actually made something
amazing
tonight.
Looking picture earlier before we got on here, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes, I was glad I was going to be able to cook it before we recorded. I wasn't quite sure when we were going to do it, but the scheduling worked out. And so it turned out amazingly. Yeah, I went and I got two fillets, filet mignon or the beef tenderloin. I grabbed two of those from the meatery, prime grade. Beautiful marbling, just all through it. Amazing. More marbling than I've ever seen on a filet mignon before. Just absolutely beautiful. And there's a technique of slicing where you kind of unroll it and slice along until you have a long strip that almost looks like a skirt steak.
Yes.
And so that's what I did. I unrolled both of them, hit them with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I have this pomegranate marmalade, which is just super flavorful. Lots of it's like a pomegranate syrup. And I put a thin layer on each of those, and then I hit them with some sliced provolone and just a thin layer of quickly sauteed spinach. And then I rolled them back up and tied them so it was like a pinwheel steak. And then I did those, browned them in a pan on all sides and then into the oven. And then Stephanie made some roasted mashed cauliflower. So like instead of mashed potatoes, she took cauliflower, roasted it, and then threw that into the Blendtec with some butter and some sour cream. And she roasted some garlic with it too. So that was in there. And did that. So it was this like kind of rich, like very nutty and garlicky, all in there. And then some asparagus. And man, we threw that down, and it was to die for. It was so good. I was very, very happy with that.
Excellent.
Yeah. And
That picture that you sent me, it told the whole story. And honestly, you could have fooled me with that, the roasted smashed cauliflower, because I actually thought it was mashed potatoes. So,
and doing the roasting instead of, because a lot of times people will steam it or boil it first, and then you end up with a very wet product at the end. Roasting, it really turned out it had a good texture to it. It stood up well.
Air fryer.
Oh yeah, that's another thing you can do is toss them in the air fryer, get that same. And it turned out amazingly. And I did this time, instead of usually what I'll do is I'll take small clips as I'm making stuff, because I know I'm going to cut it together for Instagram. I'm going to have to speed them up. I'm going to have 90 seconds to get the whole thing in there. So I'll take clips.
Yeah.
This time I took videos, actual videos of the entire process. I am going to cut it together. I'm going to take out the audio of, the Miss Rachel that Squee was watching out of the background, so we don't get, a DMCA hit. But I'll have the full video. I'll be talking people through the process. And so you can actually go see it, see what I actually did. And that'll be our first kind of cook video that's up there on YouTube. Patrons will get it first, but we're going to start doing more of that as well. So instead of the 90-second clip, you can see, the full walkthrough.
Totally.
Yeah.
Show us how to cook, chef.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I think probably right now is a good time for us to take a quick break here. We've got, I do believe we have a trail report. I've been talking to a couple of people, so I think we've got a trail report this time. And obviously a couple of promos we'll throw in there. But when we come back, we'll talk about some beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be right back.
BRB.
Hey, everybody. This is Garth with a trail report. I'm a friend of the pod. For those of you who don't recognize what I'm told is a very unique voice, I'm the co-host of the Least Haunted podcast. So unlike my other co-host friend Cody, who also does Least Haunted, I do drink beer. Cody does not. Anyway, so I thought I'd do a trail report and tell you about one of the beers that I had recently. So, as all of you know, I am a starving artist, a working artist by trade, and I've had ups and downs over the months, and I needed a little extra money, so I've actually been a bartender at this little place up in the Santa Cruz Mountains here called No-No's. It's right in Redwood Estates off of Highway 17. It's this little pizzeria / barbecue place, and there's like a little outdoor bar, and I've been a bartender there for a couple months now. So it's a lot of fun, mostly local people who are there. And let me see, what was the name of it? Oh yes, Stone Delicious IPA. That was the beer that I really, really enjoyed. It's an IPA, and I don't normally like hops, but it's not super hoppy, and it's got a really nice citrus flavor to it. It's great for a hot day. It's very thirst quenching and goes down very smooth, so you gotta watch out. But we had it through most of July, and then we didn't anymore, and I missed it so much because I just loved it on tap. And then we got it back again recently. So I highly recommend the Stone Delicious citrus IPA while summer is still hot, because soon enough it's going to be fall, and really this is meant to be drank? What's the past tense of to drink? Drunken. It's meant to be. you could get drunken if you drink too much of it, but it's good when it's hot. So I highly suggest y'all drink it as soon as humanly possible. And that's my I was gonna say road report. No, it's a trail report. So I hope that was of use to all of you beer drinkers out there. I'm sure that you've all tried this already, but if you haven't, Stone Delicious IPA. And if you live in the Bay Area and you find yourself over Highway 17 to Santa Cruz, swing by No-No's. It's open every day except for Mondays, and real nice place, very chill, and maybe you'll even see me there. All right, talk to you soon. Bye. Did you ever get the feeling that there was more to this world than meets the eye?
Ghosts, aliens, age, feet, interdimensional spirits, cryptids, North Dakota. Well, neither have we.
So come join us as we uncover the true stories and plausible explanations behind famous paranormal urban myths.
From the perspective of skeptics.
But it's funny. We promise it's funny.
So join us in the Least Haunted Podcast, because the only thing that's haunted here is you.
Ah!
Are you a new parent trying to find your way?
Or are you thinking of becoming a new parent and want to know what to expect?
Or do you not plan on having kids but just want to know what it's like?
Nobody without kids wants to know what it's like.
I'm Travis,
I'm Stephanie.
and we have just the show for you.
You, Me, and Squeeze, a new podcast where we explore the challenges of being new parents and everything we learn along the way. We'll talk about our experiences, different parenting philosophies and trends, giving our own perspectives, and talking about what worked for us and what didn't.
Let's face it, a lot has changed since our parents and grandparents were raising kids. So we're all kind of figuring out this new frontier for ourselves, and it can feel pretty lonely. So come join us for the journey where sometimes we'll laugh, sometimes we'll cry, but we'll always be real with you.
You, Me, and Squee. It beats listening to your childless aunt give her 2 cents.
Or any of your aunts, really.
We'll drunkenly mix metaphors and travel happy trails.
All right, welcome back. Those were some amazing, I'm sure, trail report. I'm very confident there was a trail report in there. And
We heard
probably at
about
least
something
one
about beer. Maybe a
Something.
little promo.
Yeah, something to listen to, I'm sure. And welcome back from it. I'm glad you made it to the other side.
Hi.
Well, now that we're back, let's talk about some beer. Nick, you actually had some pretty good beer adventures recently, did you not?
Yes. It being kind of my birthday weekend, we kind of just went on a whim with things. So Saturday, what happened Saturday? Oh, we went on a motorcycle ride out southeast of where we live into kind of the Cascade Mountains to go check out a beautiful waterfall that we hadn't been to before. That's the Salt Creek waterfall. Went there and then basically went back the same way that we came in. And when you go to that waterfall, you pass through a little town called Oak Ridge up in the mountains. And we've been aware of a place there, a brewery that we've been wanting to go check out. So we went and checked it out on our way back home. And that is Three-Legged Crane Brewing.
Three-Legged Crane.
Yes. So very much a, Old English pub vibe to it. And they actually specialize in, your English ales. So they have quite a few cask ales that are, obviously done through the beer engine.
Yes.
Actually, some of my favorite beers out there, because anybody who hasn't had a beer through a beer engine, which it's hard to explain, but it looks like a tap handle, but they actually have to pump each time to fill quite a few times to fill your glass. Instead
of the standard where it's hooked up to CO2 and the CO2 is creating pressure that pushes it through, it's the hand pump is what's pushing and or pulling.
Exactly. Pulling it out of the cask through the lines and out the fancy little tap that sits down close to the bottom of your glass.
Yeah.
When they first start pouring. And ultimately it's what gives it that very creamy head that you would typically find on like a nitro tap system.
Yes.
And that the English ales, and it's funny because they're classified as like bitters, and there's like a few different levels of bitters. But that's what they just call what would be their IPAs essentially.
Yeah.
But I find that the English bitters are typically not nearly as bitter as like your American IPAs.
Yes.
Or American style IPAs.
Well, our American style pale and IPA and everything like that, we really showcase the hop. And as you're saying, those other styles, the English style bitter, the extra special bitter, things like that, they're still showcasing the malt. That's what it's about. The bitter is there for balance, but it's not about the hop. It's about the
preservation.
It's about the malt. Yeah, for preservation and
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
But because of that creamy head that is produced, it's just an amazing drinking beer.
Yeah.
And despite it being still a more malt forward, it's not heavy malty like you would think. Or at
Yeah.
least not in my opinion, or in my opinion. But this particular one that I had, it was called a Racing Green Triumph. And that was what's referred to as a best bitter. So in this case, it's like a session IPA.
Yeah.
I believe it was only 4%.
Wow.
Which was perfect because I'm on the bike.
Sure.
I'm not trying to have like a big old heavy beer or anything. We're just making a quick stop, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
And we split they were doing a mushroom poutine, so it was basically
Ooh.
mushroom gravy.
Yes.
Yeah. And that was pretty good as well. It was a nice quick little snack, and then we realized, oh, rain's coming. And just as we're leaving, it started kind of spitting on us and everything.
Yeah.
But all the rain was happening in Eugene. It was funny. Once we got back into Eugene, there was all the rain was gone. So
Yeah.
that worked out pretty well. But Three-Legged Crane, though, really cool spot. I wish we had more time to hang out there, but I think we'll probably go back soon, just to kind of maybe more in like the evening when we went. There was maybe like 4 or 5 other people there, but I definitely like to go and see, when it has more of the nighttime vibe, and you get more locals, regulars in there and everything, and
Yeah.
some music
Now-
going. So
Now you said that they had the poutine going. Do they have like a full menu there, snacks and kind of
do.
entrees, or what do they
Yeah.
have?
I don't really notice entrees, although maybe I just didn't notice them because I wasn't quite looking for them. But they definitely have, like your typical pub fare appetizers. They were out of them, but they offer a Scotch egg.
Nice.
Love
Yeah.
Scotch eggs.
Absolutely.
But again, like your typical English pub fare.
Cool.
Yeah, no, cool little spot. Definitely want to go back. And then next door, there's kind of like a little food cart setup going on and everything. It didn't look like any of the food carts were open when we were there, but when we were getting ready to leave, it looked like they were starting to get ready to open for the evening. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
And
very
then
cool little
would
spot.
they have
What's that?
closer to 5, closer to 10 beers on tap? What do you think?
Probably, I think they had about 6, 7 beers. At least
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them were cask.
Nice.
On cask, yeah. Monica had I think she had it was like a hazy IPA that they do. So they don't do all purely just, English ales. They also do, some American style as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
And then what did we do after that? So yeah, that was about it for Saturday. And then Sunday, I wasn't sure what was going to be open on Labor Day, so we kind of did stuff on yesterday on Sunday, and so went up to Corvallis, check out a breakfast place because I'm all about breakfast. Monica
Yeah.
found this place called Wisecrack Cafe. Did not disappoint. I said I just want a place that's got a good Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
Bloody Mary didn't disappoint. Bacon on the skewer with the little pearl onion and olive.
Yeah.
And no, it was a good spot, very good breakfast. And what did we? Oh yeah, and then yesterday evening, we've been wanting to check out this newish brewery in Eugene that came from recommendation from Jared from Black Wolf Supper Club.
Yes.
And so finally, I said, you know what, let's go check them out. And they actually had a food truck on site that we've also been wanting to check out for a very long time. So it worked out perfectly. Went there with my parents. I had their Czech dark lager called Rule of Two.
Ooh.
Very, very good lager. Wow. Monica had their double IPA called Smooth Criminal.
Very
My
nice.
mom wanted something. My mom just said, I want a pale ale. And so I just looking at the menu and was like, oh, Juicy Oat Pale. I had never.
Juicy Oat Pale.
Yes, Juicy Oat Pale.
Okay.
That one's called Incredible Thoughts. So I got a quick little sampler of that. I tried it. I was like, oh, I like this. I think my mom will like it. And I had my dad bring the little taster over to her. She gave the thumbs up on it. So that turned out to be a really, I said, a mom approved beer.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last beer Monica and I shared, and that was what they dubbed as a summer IPA, called Eloquent Burn. They had another one on there, which I was very curious about. Didn't get a chance to try it, though. An Imperial Kolsch. I've never heard of an Imperial Kolsch.
An Imperial Kolsch.
Yeah.
No,
so
that's a new one
like
on me.
Basically a high ABV Kolsch.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it was like 7% or something like that, which that's a bit, it's pretty high for a Kolsch.
It is. Yeah, that's high for that type of a really light crystalline type beer, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that if we have time to go back this week that they still have it on tap, because I suspect they probably roll through beers rather quickly.
Yeah.
Based on at least the size of brewing capacity that I saw from their Instagram posts a year ago when they were first getting set up. So
yeah.
But no, what a great spot. Husband and wife and friend own it. We met Cam and Amy, the husband and wife that own it. Great folks. And I talked to them a little bit about the show. Gave them some stickers. They said, oh, you can go ahead and put a sticker up on the beer cooler.
Very nice.
Yeah, they only had maybe like 5 or 6 stickers up there already. So we got our branding up there.
Excellent.
And,
premium placement.
They offered us a few stickers. So we got some stickers, got some of their coasters. But really, truly great folks and very accommodating. So
I want to know more about this hazy oat pale. So it's brewed with it. So they're using oat in the grain bill, right?
Yeah.
So did it have that characteristic kind of smoothness and kind of mouthfeel?
Absolutely. So not quite as like, like the English ale that I had where it's like that creaminess, but definitely smooth on the tongue compared to like your typical just hazy IPA.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about one a while back that was it was a brewery. They made a regular hazy, and then they also did they did a milkshake IPA.
Yeah.
And that has lactose in it. And then they did a version for folks that are lactose intolerant done with that were oat fluffed.
Yes, that's right. I do remember that.
I can't remember. I know the label is probably on the table behind me, but but no, so similar to that, not as heavy as an oat fluffing, but still a nice just mouthfeel to it.
Excellent. I love it. Very creative. Something I'm not seeing. Listeners, if you guys are seeing this out there, shoot us an email, contact@hoppytrailspod.com. Let us know where you're seeing it. This is a new one on me, and I don't think I've seen one out in the wild yet, and I would definitely love to experience one. Nick, when I'm up there, maybe we'll make a trip. Maybe they'll have it on, maybe they won't.
Yeah. When you're coming up, we're going regardless anyways, but no, I'll have to see about somehow. I wonder if they can produce growlers or something, or maybe they can get a few small growlers. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That would be great.
Yeah. And anyways, so that food truck that they had there, pizza truck, they do, I can't get enough of the name of this truck. It's called A Little Pizza Oregon.
Yeah.
And they do the Detroit style pan pizza. So, like Chicago's got its deep dish pizza done in a pan,
Yes.
but that is vastly different from your typical pizza.
Yeah.
I feel like Detroit style pan pizza is kind of that crossover between traditional pizza and Chicago style. But it's
Yeah.
still Detroit is where it's like it's done in a square pan or rectangular pan. And it's very thick crust throughout. And the edge crust is minimal because you're already working with like an almost an inch thick of just crust throughout the pizza.
Yeah.
It's got sauce, cheese, like your standard pizza. It's not ass backwards like Chicago pizza. And yeah, great pizza though. Dough is like nice and fluffy with a nice crisp bottom from being in the pan.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just have your standard ones. The one that I really liked, which I believe is called the People's Choice, came with pickled jalapenos, pepperoncinis, and sausage.
Yeah.
And
that sounds nice. That sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, when Steph and I, whenever we get a meatball sandwich, we always have them add on the pickled jalapenos and the pepperoncinis as well, because that combination, the meat with the marinara sauce and the provolone and a good bread and everything, with that little bit of tang and a little bit of heat, man, from the pepperoncinis, the jalapenos. Whew, it is good. If you haven't had it, have it. That's the way. It's delightful.
I'd have to be a bad boy and have another slice.
Yeah. Well, and that's great. The Detroit style, like you said, with that thick crust throughout, is very different from a lot of other places where you do have the thinner crust. New York, obviously, the thinner crust, you can fold it in half and like that. A lot of other places do the really thin, crispy crust, so you're not folding it, but again, that ultra thin. Detroit style with that thick bready crust. How was the bread? How was the crust itself? Was it good?
Oh, excellent. Not overwhelming flavor, but a nice dough flavor to it.
Yeah.
Like I said, very kind of fluff to it, where it's got the softness where it kind of compresses down, but not too much. Honestly, the only issue that I had with it was, especially for it had like so much cheese on it, which is, I love cheese and that's awesome, but there was so much cheese and it was so hot and everything, we actually had to wait for it to kind of cool down and the cheese to solidify a little bit, because as we were cutting it, it was pouring off of the crust and everything. So we waited, let it cool down a little bit, and even still I had a knife and fork my piece a bit because it was just so loaded with sausage and peppers. It was incredible, but it was such a heavy slice to pick up and everything and maintain it not falling apart. I just had to knife and fork it about halfway through until I had some structural rigidity that I could pick it up. But
I love it.
That's not a diss on their pizza. Their pizza is so good. And I'm glad that we ordered a little tiny pepperoni one to go, because we're going to enjoy that over the next few days. So
excellent. Oh man. Well, and are they there all the time, or is that one of those where they rotate in and out?
They rotate in and out, but from what I've seen, they're typically there on Sundays and Mondays or so at that brewery. But they do, that particular truck, they also go, other places all over Eugene. So
yeah.
But yeah, I've seen a couple different trucks rotate through the brewery there. So I'm excited to try the others. But yeah,
I definitely need to try that. That sounds like a really good pizza. I love pizza of all different styles. The one that Chicago deep dish. Here's my thought on it. Okay, I would be perfectly happy to enjoy some Chicago deep dish. However, I feel like if I ever go to Chicago, right, like by the time I land and then call and say like, hey, I'd like to order a Chicago deep dish pizza, I will have flown out by the time that deep dish pizza is ready. Those things are so deep and thick that it's like, I haven't even planned my trip to Chicago yet, but I better call and order one so that by the time I do buy plane tickets and fly out there, it's ready. insane. Like if you need a pizza, any other kind, you can order it, and by the time you get there, your pizza's ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I, I, of course, anybody loves to eat pizza with their hand, as it should be.
Yes.
But I'll admit there are times where I have a slice that it's just not cooperating, and I got a knife and fork it, unfortunately. But there is never an opportunity for me to do that with Chicago deep dish pizza. I've never, I can't pick up the slice. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so loaded with stuff that, and the way that it's built, it's just not going to happen. You got to knife and fork it.
When all upside down and all the sauce on top and everything like
and
that.
They have a
and
thin cornmeal based crust, and don't get me wrong, cornmeal based crust tastes amazing.
Delicious.
It's actually one of the few pizza crusts that I'll actually eat down to the last bit, because it's like you get to that thick edge crust and it's like, ooh, like it's a cornbread muffin at the end.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
But yeah, ideally I'd like to eat my pizza by hand. So
yeah, and any listeners out there who disagree, please feel free to email. I will delete those emails. I'm not even going to read it. If you say Chicago pizza is the best pizza, I'm not even reading that. So tough.
We'll just create an email filter.
We're going to create a
directly
filter.
To spam.
Everyone
if
else,
it says Chicago pizza is the best,
that's it.
Yeah,
out, gone.
Yeah.
We'll block your IP.
If I'm going to Chicago, the first thing I'm getting is a hot beef sandwich.
Oh yes, yeah, 100%. That will happen. Yeah, and listen, no hate on Chicago, no hate at all.
No.
There's tons of food that I've been wanting to try. We're gonna make it out there at some point, but your pizza's backwards. I don't know what to tell you.
Sandwiches first.
That's right.
So yeah, that was my adventures this weekend. It was a nice good old time.
Yeah, and I like that. We had some good weather. You're in Oregon, so you're a little bit of ways away from us. Our weather was actually really interesting.
Wacky weather the last few days.
Yeah, we had like cold and then hot, and so we kept trying to plan outdoor activities, and it was really tough because it would be super cold and a little bit rainy and then super humid and like that. We actually got out today to do a little bit of hiking, which was very nice. So we got to enjoy a short bit of sun today. And yeah, I don't know, man, this has been a weird summer. I think every one of our fans lives in a place that has had a weird summer this year. Yeah.
Yeah. We had some rain off and on the last few days, and then Saturday was perfect. And then after 5:00, it started drizzling down a little bit. And then this morning, it's funny, we're looking at the weather apps and I'm like, oh, okay, it's clear skies all the way east. Cool. And then we get outside and we start driving. I'm like, can you check the weather app again? Like, it's all like just super gray, heavy clouds. We're heading towards the hills and it's just getting darker and darker. And then it started raining a little bit on the way there. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. We're not doing anything else today. I don't care if we're driving an hour out here. If it's raining a little bit, I'm still down to hike.
Yeah.
And as we get more into the hills and everything, I see out the distance, there's some sun shining through the clouds. And I was like, that's where we're going. It's going to, not be so cloudy. And sure enough, when we got there, it was a little overcast, but still the sun was shining through and everything. You could tell rain just came through and everything. The trail was definitely damp, a little muddy in some spots, but, no, it was a great hike today. I mean, it was only like 1.5 miles going in and back, but it was all uphill going in. But no, it was good. I got to chug down that beer. I hadn't chugged down a beer like that in a long time. And that beer Kong is something else. It made it seem so smooth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the beer Kong, again, it's, listen, back in our day, if you wanted to beer bong a beer, you had to get a giant funnel and a piece of, hose and like that. And it was kind of a hassle. This beer Kong, man.
It was a 2-man operation at minimum.
At a minimum is a 2-man operation. This beer Kong is a 1-man operation. It doubles as a beer koozie
Hence the
for
name
in
Kong.
between.
It's a koozie bong.
Koozie bong. And it's really a great device, and it really does make it so easy. So when you've got one of those, lighter, crisper beers, and you need a celebration like getting to a waterfall, and you just got to
On
put
your
one
birthday.
down fast. That's
exactly.
right. Turn 42.
And that's
it's the
exactly
meaning of
why I
life.
brought that Notion Light, because I wasn't about to try and haul down a hazy IPA or a double IPA. So
I did one with a double IPA, and let me tell you,
I would not be walking back.
No, you get one of those. You put a double IPA through that thing, and
there were some
immediately start
slightly
questioning your
challenging
life.
spots, and like I would have for sure eaten shit had I chugged down a double IPA. So
yeah, no doubt. Well, I've got coming up this week, because it has been so rainy and hazy and everything. I did some more butterflied pork shoulders this weekend. So I did a couple of more of those, and I've got a bunch of leftover pork after doing pork sandwiches. And so we're going to cube a bunch of that up, and we're going to make some stew. And so I'll probably have some content about that. But, in the summertime, you don't really get to stew because it's not the right weather. It just doesn't feel right. But because it's been so cloudy and hazy, a nice, pork and potato stew is going to do just right. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll eat stew anytime. I don't care how hot it is outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, we need everybody to go to patreon.com and become a patron. We need everybody to check us out on, the socials, which are
The Instagrams.
That's
Instagram.
it. That's the one. And whatever, it's good enough. Go on there. We have a whole bunch of content. Share
You
our
can
stuff.
access all of that very easily by going to hoppytrailspod.com.
hoppytrailspod.com. How easy is that?
I feel like
as
we just
said,
need to make like a jingle. hoppytrailspod.com. hoppytrailspod.com. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll add that into the intro music, and then that way we'll get everybody at the beginning of the show. But like we said, we'll also have the link to the Maui Brewing Co. So you can check out which of your local breweries are going to be participating. Absolutely check that out. If you've got some local breweries that are not participating, hit them up. Send them the link and ask them why not. Let's get everybody participating in this. Let's help out.
What's the deal,
our fellows?
bro?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Bro.
I'm going to go to the place down the street that is participating. Take my beer dollars elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's right. And
talk with your beer dollars.
I think that's all we've got for today.
And I'm almost out of beer here. So
I ran out of mine.
Oh no.
I think all that's left is to remind everybody to always say yes to that hoppy ending.
Always say yes.
Cheers. The preceding podcast was produced by Sequoia Productions, LLC. Copyright 2022. All rights reserved. If you enjoyed this show and you're looking for more, or even if you're looking for something a little different, check out the other amazing shows by Sequoia Productions, wherever you get your podcasts, or on sequoia.com.
Hoppy trails to brew until we drink again. Hoppy trails to brew. Keep sharing with your friends. Who cares about which IPA tastes better? ABV are just a couple letters. Hoppy trails to brews until we